Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about how I'm able to achieve 220 watt-hours per mile on my Tesla Model 3, and I've had it over 11,000 miles, so if you're interested, stay tuned. So let's start with the basics. So I have a mid-range rear-wheel drive, so I only have one motor, so that obviously helps because I don't have two motors, so that's a lot of weight that is saved. I also have the aero hubs, which is obviously the smallest rim as well, so rotational mass is going to be the least amount, so basically you're going to use the least amount of energy. I don't have the actual aero hubs on. I took those off a long time ago, but I actually did another video comparing the hubs on and off, and it didn't really make that much of a difference. So maybe my efficiency could be even a little bit better, but it's kind of negligible to have the arrows on and off unless you're going on a long trip. Then I would say probably keep the arrows on. And obviously if you have an all-wheel drive, so the long range or the performance, you're probably not going to be able to hit 220. It's just not really possible with how heavy the car is and, the two motors and all that stuff. If you have a dual motor, you're probably looking at about 260 to 280 or even higher depending on how you drive. Now if you have an SR Plus, then you're definitely in the same category as me, where the SR Plus is actually even a little bit lighter than the mid-range. So you could definitely hit 220 or maybe even a little bit less, depending how you drive. So I'm pretty impressed with my 220 watt-hours per mile. I'm going to go over a couple things that have helped me, get to this low of a energy usage per mile. I looked at InsideEVs.com, and so the EPA rated watt-hour per mile for my car is actually 269. So I'm pretty impressed. I'm way under that. And then also for the SR Plus is actually 239 watt-hours per mile. So I'm even under the SR Plus's EPA range as well. So pretty impressed with how that came out. And I guess I drive like a grandma. So maybe that's part of it. So also do want to mention that my car, the mid-range, is actually 60 pounds lighter than the SR Plus, according to Wikipedia. So I don't know how I just drive like a grandma. So basically that's part of it, like I said. So basically, I'm going to go over some things that I think really help me with efficiency and, allow me to get down to this low of a watt-hour per mile. So the first thing that I feel is pretty important is the area you live in or the weather. So it's wintertime right now. It's really cold. So if you live in the Midwest or the Northeast where it snows, you're probably not going to be able to get this type of watt-hour per mile because we know that in the cold, the weather just sucks the life out of the battery, trying to keep the battery warm. So keep that in mind if you're trying to hit, really low watt-hour per mile efficiencies. So because my watt-hour is so low, I obviously don't live in the Midwest or the Northeast. I live in the Bay Area. So this type of weather here is pretty mild for the most part. It never snows here. We do have seasons, but I think that really helps that basically it doesn't get super cold or super ultra hot here. So I think that really helps with efficiency. And like I've mentioned, I basically drive like a grandma or like a normal person. And so, for the most part, I don't drive too aggressive. But I'm not going to lie. This car is very performance oriented. And I do have videos here where I have tested the 0-60 where I romp it. And I'll romp it every once in a while, but it's not something I do like on a daily basis. I don't drive the car like I stole it. So that's part of the reason why I think my efficiency is pretty low. Another thing you could do to save energy is use chill mode. I personally don't use chill mode because I find it really annoying and kind of aggravating when you push the gas pedal down and you want it to accelerate a certain way, but it just doesn't, because that's the whole point of chill mode, is to basically it gives you gradual acceleration so that way you save energy. So that could be one thing for you. Like I said, I don't like using that, but also I don't romp it very hard. So I kind of just, push down the pedal a little bit and get the car to go, but not as slow as chill mode. And so part of the reason chill mode is there is because when you're at a dead stop and you want the car to go, that uses a lot of energy to get the car to, get moving from a dead start. So that's where chill mode comes in. It gives you that gradual acceleration. So you don't just spike your energy like super high when you romp it. So basically, if you romp it like that and you let off the pedal and you get like max regen, you're still not going to recoup as much energy as you just used like romping it. So it's kind of, it doesn't go both ways really. I mean, it kind of does, but it really doesn't. So if you romp it really hard and then you let off, you're still going to lose a lot more energy than if you were to just gradually accelerate. But if you can't help yourself, definitely put it in chill mode, and that'll help you save a lot of energy. Another thing I do is, or another thing that really sucks the life out of the battery is heat. So if you use the heat or the AC all the time, that's really going to suck the life out of the battery because you have to heat up or cool down the entire cabin. An alternative for that is to use your seat heaters, because that doesn't use as much energy and it'll keep at least your backside warm while you're sitting in the car. So that could be an option for you. Personally, I don't really use either. I don't use the seat heaters at all, really. And I don't really use the heat. Sometimes I'll use the AC in the summer when it's like blazing hot. But for the most part, I don't really use the heat or AC too much. So that's where I save a lot of energy as well. So this is also another big one, is speed on the freeway. So if you're driving 75, 80 miles an hour or higher, you're going to be using a lot of energy. The car is going to be using a lot of energy trying to keep the car at that speed. And so basically, if you slow down a little bit, then you're going to save a lot of energy. So for me, I don't really drive faster than 75. I try to keep it between 70 and 75, closer to 70 most of the time. So that's where I save a lot of energy as well, because I don't drive super fast. So you don't have to, make the car use more energy to get you to go as fast as you want to go. Another thing that'll help too is if you're in traffic, that's really good for the battery. You'll get really good efficiency in that stop and go traffic because you're, accelerating very gradually and then you're slowing down. So you're going to get the regen. And so basically you can kind of go a really long time in traffic. That's kind of part of hypermiling, if you've heard of that term before, where you just use like zero energy to go anywhere. So, and another note on the freeway is if you're going 75, 80 miles an hour, all you need to do to save energy is slow down. So basically, if you drive 65 or maybe even 60, which is a little bit slow, but you'll save a lot more energy because you're not making the car go as fast and that wind resistance isn't hitting the car as much. So it doesn't have to use as much energy. Also keep in mind for freeway driving is that cruise control is there, but it's not made for efficiency. So cruise control doesn't care how efficient it is. All it does is you want to go 72, it's going to get you to 72 and that's it. It doesn't care about efficiency. So keep that in mind if you're going to use cruise control. Tire PSI is also a big energy sucker. So basically if your tires are low, like you have low pressure on your tires, that's going to really suck energy away too, because you have more tire on the road, which means it takes more energy to move the tire because more tire is gripping the road. So basically I check my tires periodically and I always have it set at 46 PSI, which is the recommended PSI for the car. So if you look in your door jamb on your driver's side, it'll tell you that. And that's where I keep my tires. So that way it's, per spec per Tesla. And of course, last but not least is your regen braking. So basically I very rarely use my brakes, only in like emergency situations or if the timing is bad and I can't stop before the, light turns red because it turned yellow when I'm 50 feet away or something like that. And so basically most of the time I don't use my brakes. And so obviously you're going to regain all the energy back that you can coming to a complete stop. So that's obviously a really good one as well. So when you're driving around on the street, try and plan ahead and look ahead to the lights. And if you can see that they're going to turn yellow before you can, or they've been green for a while and they might turn yellow, be ready for that. And that way you can anticipate using regen braking. So that way you don't have to actually use your brakes and the regen can regain as much energy as possible. So hopefully these tips maybe helped you regain some energy in your future driving, or hopefully they were useful in general. So do you think my watt-hour per mile is impressive? What's the lowest watt-hour mile you've gotten? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.